Great day, and thank you for coming. Today is a very exceptional day. It's a day that, as a city, we stop and we observe what is not only an epidemic that we need to be sure that as a city we make folks aware that we need to cure, but it's also an illness. My father tells a story about when he was in 10th grade and he came home one night to his father abusing his mom. And he said he had been seeing this happen for years and years. And unfortunately, as a teenager, he was forced to get his father's gun and threaten him to leave the house. And it was at that point that my grandfather left and never returned again. But what it did do is my daddy always talks about, my daddy said it gave everybody in the house an opportunity to breathe, because they were always holding their breath. And so we want to just take this opportunity to take this time, along with Catholic Charities, to celebrate the work that you all are doing, particularly around domestic violence, awareness, prevention, not just prevention, but how do we make sure that we are building and developing the minds of those, both men and women, who are enduring violence, to help them to understand their worth, their value, but to also make sure that we put them in situations where they no longer have to endure those things again. So today we want to present a proclamation on behalf of the city of Jackson and its more than 173,000 citizens to let you all know that we stand behind you in the efforts that you are working towards, and that it's not just your passion and your fight, it's also the passion and fight of this mayor, this administration, and this city.
Resolved by the mayor of the city of Jackson, Mississippi, that whereas domestic violence affects 1 in 4 women and 1 in 8 men, 1 in 15 children are witness to this violence, and whereas domestic violence affects victims, witnesses, friends, and family. Beyond the obvious physical and physiological wounds, victims can experience loss of wages, inability to focus and drive at work or school, difficulty maintaining personal relationships, and much more. And whereas intimate partner violence is often not about anger, it is about power and control. Perpetrators of domestic violence may use a combination of tactics to gain and maintain dominance, power, and control over their victims. And whereas we have a responsibility to stand against domestic violence by helping spread awareness, we must reaffirm our dedication to making sure no one suffers the hurt and hardship that domestic violence causes, and commit to doing everything we can to uphold human rights that are free from violence and abuse. Whereas we do not recognize and acknowledge domestic violence, whereas we do not only recognize and acknowledge Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we also extend honor and appreciation to Catholic Charities Incorporation. Here in the great city of Jackson, Mississippi, thank you for your commitment to breaking the cycle. Catholic Charities Incorporated provides services such as shelter for battered families, second stage transitioning housing, court advocacy programs, legal assistance clinics, counseling services, and daycare. Now, therefore, Mayor Tony T. Yarber of the city of Jackson, Mississippi, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2016 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month throughout the city of Jackson, Mississippi, and strongly urges all citizens of Jackson, Mississippi to observe this month by actively spreading and seeking information to support measures to prevent domestic violence.
I want to make this presentation to you all. I don't know who will actually take it in their hand. All right. Thank you. And appreciate the work that you all are doing. If you would have words and introduce those of your colleagues who are here with you.
Sure, no problem. Good morning. Today I have with me is Sarah Bradley. She's the court advocate and she's a case manager with the Shelter for Battered Families. I have Betsy Smith. She's a case manager with Second Stage Transitional Housing Program. And we have Don Jones. She is the volunteer coordinator for the Rape Crisis Center. And my name is Arteria Puckett. I am the program manager of the Shelter for Battered Families. And again, I want to thank Tony Yarber and the city of Jackson for the proclamation this morning. Thank you again. And I wanted to give say a few words. Again, on behalf of the victims and survivors, I want to thank Mayor Tony Yarber and the City of Jackson for declaring October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Domestic violence is often a not-so-kept-well secret. Victims and survivors too often live in silence, ashamed to tell their stories because too often we continue to blame the victim for the treatment he or she received at the hands of their intimate partner. Interrupting this behavior of abuse means defying the right to control and dominate the partner. This means holding people accountable for the harm that domestic violence causes others. Domestic and sexual violence is unacceptable. Catholic Charities Incorporated Shelter for Battered Family is available for victims and survivors. The Shelter for Battered Families, is a temporary emergency shelter program for men, women, and children fleeing a domestic violence situation. The Shelter for Battered Families service Capaya, Issaquena, Madison, Rankin, Sharkey, Simpson, Warren, and Yazoo County. The services that are available to the families are counseling, case management, daycare, food services, transportation, and personal care items. If you know of anyone who needs assistance, please contact our 24-hour crisis line at 601-366-0222. Again, thank you again.
Give them that number one more time.
601-366-0222.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, thank all of you for coming today. Thank you for being involved in this effort. We're declaring October as the month of awareness, but 24/7, 365 days of the year, it's our obligation to show due diligence to this effort. So thank you all again. God bless you and have a great rest of your day.